There has been a new leak for Mortal Kombat 1 and my cat is super excited too. And this guy has been leaking stuff for months and we never freaking saw it. This is a new leaker, but I will give you all the information to show that he's actually genuine and has a source. And I'll go through all the new information that we didn't know that he leaked in the past few days. But first, let's look at your community art. And it is a pixel art of Reptile in his human form and in his reptilian form. I have discovered recently that I love pixel art. I don't know if it's because of the nostalgia, because that's how games used to look like when I was a kid, and it makes me feel young inside, I guess, even though my hair is gray. But I just love that style, and they did a fantastic job to bring Reptile's new look to life, and it just looks wonderful. So I will leave a link to the artist's Twitter in the description of the video. If you want to go like it, retweet it, whatever it, and if you want your art to be featured on the channel, just tag me on Twitter. So first, I want to prove that this guy is actually legit, because even if he leaks something and he's not legit, then what's the use in even talking about it, right? Because it would be pretty pointless. But there is a lot of evidence to show that this guy is legit. So the first piece of evidence here that I have is that he talked about Darius 1 month ago. He said, "I guarantee Darius is a cameo." That was a month ago, and we got Darius like, what, 2 weeks ago? So I think that is a point for our leaker. And next up is about Smoke. Now this was posted on June 26, 2023, and the Smoke trailer came out July 6th, right? So this leaker said his default skin has like really normal short Kenshi like hair, but it's gray instead of black. He got a pretty cool gray mask on as well. So this leaker had information on what Smoke looked like before the trailer came out. So obviously he couldn't have gotten his exact hairstyle, especially because everyone who would want to mimic a leak would probably say, oh, he has long hair and whatnot, you know? In my opinion, this is pretty legit. Piece of evidence is about Reptile, and this is dated to 2 months ago. So this person was saying, do we know this for true? And he says, yes, I was actually wrong. I got updated info and his default skin will be human green ninja. And then the person said, lame if true, which is wild, but then the leaker replied, it is. He has an alt thick boy reptilian skin and a human ninja form. And he said that 2 months ago, and it was exactly right, because Reptile can transform into a thick boy reptile. Also, 3 days ago, he posted this about Reptile. He has best of both worlds in designs, I promise, human and reptilian. So he also said this about Havoc 14 days ago, so he had his look completely right. He said it's kind of hard to see in the select screen because he's like the unlockable character in this game. So you can actually unlock Havoc in this game. But from what I can tell, his bottom half is still creepy and messed up, but his jaw is completely intact. I also can't tell if his mouth and cheeks are bloody and have no flesh on them, or it's just some sort of war paint. He's had more of an overhaul than Raiko, it seems. So I think we've pretty much established that this guy is for real, right? He did mention that he knows people that work in the industry. He is not, you know, in it himself. He has a source. So let's go through the things that he has leaked. The first thing I want to bring up is that there's only 24 slots on the main roster, and Shang Tsung is one of them. So we are not missing 2 characters, but 1. So that's really sad, I guess. And I'm really curious as to who it is, because no one freaking knows at this point. Now, this guy says there's only 24 slots on the main roster. Obviously, I'm getting tons of DMs due to my last post, and the most common is people asking about this. Shang Tsung counts as the 24th slot. There's only 1 more character to be leaked, not 2. I don't know who it is because they're grayed out on the select screen. It's obvious that a screenshot he got from his source didn't have all characters. So I don't want to speculate too much on who this character might be. That could be for another video. But I'm just going to say it might be a player created character, and that is why it's grayed out, because we created ourselves, which would be freaking awesome. However, no Sonya, no Kano, no Jax. And certainly no Jade for base roster, which is a big hit, but I mean, I think the roster is freaking awesome. So he also deconfirmed Jade. 17 days ago, he said Jade unfortunately won't be in this one. So she is not base roster. One of my best performing videos in the past few months has been the Jade video. And I still have people to this day telling me that I'm wrong, that Jade's coming on the base roster, but she is not. A bunch of leakers have said that she is not on the base roster. It's over. Y'all gotta move on someday. like we did with Melina, I guess. Well, the normal people, you know, not the crazy stands. Shujinko, old man Shujinko to be specific, will be in the cameo roster of Mortal Kombat 1. Which is freaking awesome because although he wasn't very popular, you know, it's just very nostalgic to people who have played these games as kids, right? So he says, I haven't seen much actual confirmation from other people, but Shujinko is one of the last cameos. In the image I have, it's him, and then the last slot is a silhouette with a question mark on him, so I can't tell if it's a random select or a secret cameo. And he did post a screenshot of this grayed out character that he says he doesn't know if it's a random select or a secret cameo. It could be an unlockable cameo, but it also could just be someone they haven't finished yet, or someone they aren't ready to show or test. But you might be wondering, if you go see his comment history, why is he so active now all of a sudden? Well, it's because people have had a lot of questions since Diamond Vision started posting some stuff again. Diamond Vision is the guy who had previously leaked part of the roster. The one who mixed up the cameos and the fighters and mixed up the DLC with the base roster and stuff like that, right? So here's what Diamond Vision has been saying. He said, interesting, what have you heard? The only thing I heard is if Sonya or Kano don't make main roster, they will be Combat Pack 2. But it would be so weird that at this point it's still undecided. I don't know, I find this really weird. Now he also said, I actually haven't heard anything about Special Forces or Red Black Dragon at all story-wise. I keep hearing Order Realm is still getting the shaft and nothing, so no Hotaru of course. All I know is 2 Laos and 2 Smokes were place tested. My guess is the fighter and the cameo versions. So he's saying there might be a Smoke cameo in the game, and that it's Cyber Smoke, which would be freaking awesome. But I just don't see this happening, and maybe it's just like a skin for Sector or Cyrex cameo, or maybe it's for a combat pack, right? Now about General Shao, he says, all I've heard is he has more of an MK9 style moveset, but he's got a really cool new design, but haven't heard what's so exciting about it. He also mentioned Sindel. He says, all I know is Sindel will have new hair grabs. Hey, maybe she will be a grappler, which would be freaking hilarious. Then he continues to say about Cyber Smoke still. He says, I know 100% Cyber Smoke was play tested in some capacity. I just don't know has a cameo or a fighter. But to me it would be pretty redundant to put Cyber Smoke and not put any of the other cyber ninjas in when his human form is already in the game. It really would not make any sense. And I'm not saying that Diamond Vision is lying or whatever, I just think because he's not an MK fan, he probably doesn't understand what his source is telling him, right? Maybe his source also has limited information. So that is why the other guy that I talked about in the first part of the video was talking about Cyber Smoke, and he said there is no Cyber Smoke unless he is unlockable. So if anything, in my opinion, it's probably just a skin for Smoke in the game, which would be freaking awesome because I love both Cyber and Human Smoke. So I love how there's so many leaks that were just under our noses and we never noticed because we didn't believe those people, obviously, until, you know, the things they said came true. Obviously it's hard to prove anything when you don't have a screenshot, right? Which I understand why they want to protect their sources, and it is what it is. But I think we got some pretty interesting information. I'm pretty hyped to see what Shujinko looks like. But I'm so sad that there's only 24 characters on the base roster. And I'm so curious about that last character. So let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. And as always, have yourself a wonderful day. And I'll see you all very soon.